Okay. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the course on cryptography and system security. During our previous session, we started discussing about message authentication code. Right. When we talk about message authentication code, right, again, which is used for in order to check the integrity as well as an authentication. Again, it's the code is generated, right, based on the input message which is received and based on the key which is known between the sender and receiver. Plain text plus key, and that will produce a fixed size code that is called a message authentication code. So that is going to be appended at the end of the message, and that will be transmitted to the receiver. By receiving the entire message, he will segregate the message and then message authentication code. Whatever the message which is received, on the message he will calculate message authentication code based on the key which is already shared between the sender and receiver. Whatever the code which is calculated, that is going to be compared with the code which is received from the sender. Both the code values are matches, that ensures the integrity as well as an authentication. So the another version of the message authentication code is the hybrid version, which is the concatenation of hash function with the message authentication code. When we talk about this hash message authentication, right, which is the combination of message authentication code and hash function. Now this part which belongs to message authentication code, right, where we'll be using a key. When you talk about hash function, we'll not be using any keys. Instead, we'll be using a list of functions, a logical functions, right, step by step function, what we studied in the MD5 as well as SHA1 algorithm, and that will produce a fixed size output, right. So this, when we talk about hash message authentication code, right, which uses two message authentication code steps as well as two hash function steps, right. In order to use the message authentication code, we are going to use k1 and then k2. For that, we need to use a k, which is a k plus is an expanded key. Say for example, if it is a 128-bit key, right, so maybe from the 32-bit key we will add a padding bit so that the key size will equal to 128-bit. If the key size is already 128-bit, then the padding is not required. Okay, so whatever the value which we added, right, so here we are going to add and all the values, and then we are going to use it, right, which is the input pad value and then the key value, the expanded key value, both the values which are going to be applied to this some operation, and that is going to produce s1 value, right. Now, so this part, this entire value which is going to be concatenate with our actual messages, right. So this is a simple message authentication code generation function. This is our input block. Now this is our input block, right, and this input blocks will be processed to the hash function. At the end of the hash function, which will produce hash code. I hope this is clear. Hash code will be produced for the contents of the message authentication code with the message. Out of this, S1 is the message authentication code, Y0, Y1 are the plain text input blocks. For that the entire information we are considering as the M. The M is the notation which is used for always to represent the plain text, right. So here we are getting the values, and similarly one more time we are repeating the process with the different key values. So here the same k plus, so here we are going to use another constant value which is output pad. So this input pad and then output pad value which can be decided by the users randomly, right. Again, so this will produce the hash code, sorry, the message authentication code, and here we'll be getting this message digest or hash code. Now the input or the one more hash function will be applied on the hash code as well as message authentication code which we produced. I hope this is clear. I'll repeat. So here already we calculated the message authentication code here. So here now this is one message authentication code, and our input blocks hash function hash code is produced here. Similarly, so here k plus again the expanded key value and then output pad. Why we are using the two different constant values? In order to increase the complexity. Again it will produce the one more hash code, sorry, one more message authentication code. Now this is message authentication code, now this is hash code. So in the first block, in the first hash function, we pass the input plain text message. When we use the second hash function where we are passing hash code for the input hash, for the input value, right? So here the initial vectors hash function will be carried out. For this hash function, what are the two elements will be passed as the input? The message authentication code which has been generated here and the hash code which has been produced here. Both these parameters will be passed as the input and that will produce n bit hash message authentication code. Any queries? Any queries regarding this hash message authentication code explanation part? You can write the attendance now. Now this is a simplified visualization of hash message authentication code, right? So here, so say for example, I just explained with the example. Suppose your key which you have chosen for the input as well as output pad, if it is less than 64, right? So we'll use some input pad so that this is input key plus pad value, so which will be equal to 64 byte. Similarly, here it is output pad which will makes our the key value which will be equal to 64 bytes. Again, this input key value plus message hash sum which will produce the hash code. So here this is again message authentication code 0, I mean output key plus pad. So whatever the output which we produced here, and then we'll apply one more hash function that will produce an hash code which may be any size defined by the algorithm. I hope all of you wrote the attendance in the chat box. If anyone is not done, I'll wait for a few more seconds. You can do it quickly. Okay, next I will quickly discuss about CMAC, which is cipher-based message authentication code. So this is very similar with the topic or the concept which we studied in the cipher blockchaining. What is the cipher blockchaining? Anyone can recall and just let me know what is the cipher blockchaining, where which is hashless message authentication code. Here will not use any hash function. Instead, we'll be using some other elements which is called a cipher block chaining. This is one version of block cipher modes of operation, right? So whatever the cipher text which we are producing based on the encryptions, right? Input and then key, whatever the ciphertext which you are producing in the first block, and that input or that output which is going to be feeded as the chain value input for the next block. By the way, if you have 10 blocks, first block output will, which will be the one of the input for the second block. Likewise, second block output which will be the one of the input for the third block. Okay, I'll quickly recap with the things which we studied already, right? So now this is plain text, and initial vectors will be applying to the XOR function, and whatever the intermediate ciphertext which you are getting, so that will be applied to the encryption function with respect to the K, which will produce a ciphertext. Now this ciphertext which will be fed as the chain value for the next set of values. This is plain text 2 block, and here which will be XOR value and then encryption. In order to do the encryption, where we'll be using the same key for encryption, right? Again, the reverse process will be carried out in the decryption, ciphertext 1 and then key value and then initial vectors, and then we'll be getting the plain text. Whatever the ciphertext which is produced here, so that will be passed to the next subsequent rounds. So the ciphertext block 2 and then K, which will be fast for decryption, and we'll get the intermediate ciphertext, and then we'll be feeding this as the C1 as the input. So we'll be getting the plain text block 2. Any queries regarding the cipher block chaining explanation? I hope this is clear because already we detailedly studied about all these concepts. Now this is through the different diagram based explanation which is further required, right? So here this is our message block M1, M2, M4, where we'll be having the blocks. So let's assume it is a 64-bit block. So here we'll be having a 64-bit key which uses encryption algorithm which produces 64-bit ciphertext. The ciphertext which will be passed to the next block, right? And after processing all the rounds, whatever the value which we are getting, which is a 64-bit value, which will be our cipher message authentication code. Is it clear? If you are clear about the message authentication code as well as cipher block chaining, right? So this is based on the cipher block chaining, so that it will be easy for you to understand the logic how the cipher message authentication code is generated. Okay, the same advantages and disadvantages with respect to the cipher block chaining. So with this, we are coming to the end of our today's session, right? And at this session, we discussed about the different the terms which are related to the message authentication code, message digest, right? And then we discussed about hash message authentication code and then cipher message authentication code. If you have any queries regarding the explanation which I've covered, quickly can unmute and ask the queries. I'll be happy to answer your query. I've enabled the chat box. If somebody's missed your attendance, quickly can write in the chat box. So with this, we are coming to our end of our today's session. Any queries? You can write in the chat box now. If there are no more queries, then we'll end the session. Okay. Don't miss the aptitude session which is scheduled at 1:30. and we'll be using the licensed version only, license ID only. Okay, thank you all.